It might shock some people, but I actually started having aesthetic treatments when I was, I think, 26 or 27 years old. So sit tight, I'm going to go through all the aesthetic treatments and skincare that I have tried over the last 10 plus years to look my best and to slow down the aging process. So let me take you back to when it all started in aesthetics for me. I've always been fascinated by the appearance of things, the overall outcome relating to like your clothing, your skin, your makeup. It's just my thing. Good for you. It's my obsession. I remember sitting when I was in my early 20s in a cafe in London and seeing the light come in and hit this guy's skin, and his skin was like glowing from within. And back in the day, like, that's a long time ago now, like I'm 38, whatever he was doing with his skin, he was winning. And I can remember thinking at that point, like, I want skin like that. But I was in my early 20s, skincare just wasn't what it was now, and I was thinking like SPF 15 was still okay, and tanning my skin was okay, and that's just not okay if you want to look your best and to age slowly. So let's get into when I started in aesthetics. Before I even qualified as a GP doctor, I'd already done my first course in aesthetics, so it was Botox and dermal filler, and that's now plus 10 years ago, which is crazy. I started having Botox, doing family and friends, and it was the best decision ever. My makeup was starting to settle in, my fine lines and wrinkles. I was getting crow's feet, forehead lines, and like I said, skincare just wasn't really there. So that was my first intervention, as to speak. And then some years passed, but I was having it regularly, probably about 2 or 3 times a year. Then I think I just started going to the gym quite a lot, and it was around in my 30s, early 30s. And I was a very slim, and that doesn't help when it comes to like facial fat support on your face. Enter dermal filler, and the first area that I ever had dermal filler was my cheeks. And looking back, I look at the photos thinking I probably had quite okay cheeks, but I think the product that was used was just a bit too volumizing. It's fine, I just had really good cheeks for some years, and then that's naturally degraded over time. Then more sprinklings of filler, the nasolabial lines, nose to mouth lines, lips, chin as well, and the marionette lines as well. I've got very thin skin. It's to do with genetics. My collagen amount compared to, so my peers, is lower. So that means that I'm going to show fine lines and wrinkles and volume loss much quicker than my peers. So this is why I was having these volumizing treatments. This worked for years. I didn't feel that I needed anything extra. It was just more fighting off the natural aging process, volume replacing. In essence, filler mimics fat. So this kept me, say, happy, because my overall aesthetic is always to look natural and just to slow down my aging process and to be in keeping with my peers. I'm not trying to look like I did when I was younger, but I just want to look well and like refreshed. I can't remember when I started having things like radiofrequency microneedling, because I started noticing jowling, which is like a puffing of the lower jawline, which then ends up making your like lower face look square. But had radiofrequency microneedling round about like, I think it's like my mid 30s, to really tighten my jawline and shrink that jowl fat pad, which can make us look square. So it's giving me a more uplifted appearance, and it can be collagen boosting as well. I then had my first baby and developed melasma, which is a hyperpigmentation problem where your skin tone looks uneven. This was my enter of something called SQT BioMicroneedling, which is a very clever treatment that there's lots of different varieties of it, but there's a specific one that treats pigmentation, and it is the best hands down treatment for pigmentation ever. It's like magic. Your pigmentation will go away and just you maintain your skincare results with skincare. Around about pre-COVID, so sorry this is a bit jumbled, but just trying to think about where things entered in my aesthetic practice and journey, I started doing pharmacy grade aesthetic skincare, and this really leveled up my game. I remember starting out with the ordinary retinols and just wasn't cutting it, and then started using pharmacy grade aesthetic products like Abaji and Zedo Skin Health, and it just knocked things out of the park. And then I started getting real skincare results. And you got to remember, 80% of your time needs to be skincare, and then 20% of your time needs to be treatments, aesthetic treatments. And that really leveled up my overall aesthetic outcome. I was then starting to get that like lit from within glow. I then had my second baby, and then I hadn't had any aesthetic treatments for like 18 months plus. When I then stopped breastfeeding, I can remember looking at myself thinking, ugh, it's just normal aging, but it's just not what I wanted to see, that's why I have aesthetic treatments, just to feel fresher and more confident in myself, rather than me looking at myself thinking I look tired and, just a bit there, So I then, for some reason, I just don't know, maybe it's just the trend at the time, I just become very aware of Sculptra, which is a biostimulator, injectable treatment, which helps to promote your collagen and your elastin in your skin. So that was my next thing to have post my second baby and post stopping breastfeeding. That really tightened my skin. I then had a more uplifted appearance. I volume replaced on my face without actually having filler, which filler's not a bad guy, but if you can have something naturally put into yourself that then stimulates your own, you're always going to look naturally better. There's still a place for filler, when you want more volume loss, or more volume replacement, should I say, and things like lips, noses, sometimes we've got really big volume losses underneath the eyes. It's still a place, but when you want to kind of naturally do something, and then you don't mind that maybe having a little bit of volume loss, or it just works enough for you, then just try biostimulators. Your skin will love it, your skin quality will be better, and it's just made my aesthetic results look so much better, tighter, firmer skin. And I just literally look in the mirror and I just know that I look younger, which is great, but still look natural. Biostimulators have become a massive thing for me, and I've then gone on to do further training in more advanced biostimulators, things that can be used underneath the eye, Juvalook, and now I offer something called Lenisna, a more modern version of Sculptra. I've had many skin boosters along the way, which are more skin hydrators, a great way to maintain your aesthetic treatment results and to complement your skincare. Let me know if you've got any questions in the comments.